My Tabor City home here. We got a couple things that we're trying to work through today. We are going to see about changing out the or cleaning up the fuel injectors. That's our primary job for the day. That's really, if we get that done, I'll be satisfied. Beyond that, have to clean up some of this mess. Might just get some new wiring, and I think that's about it. I think that's about all we're going to try to achieve for the day. Lately I've been thinking that I can get far more done than what I'm actually going to get done, so that seems to be the story of a lot of things. So I don't know, we'll see how that goes. We're going to try to, as we go through this process of swapping out and cleaning up these fuel injectors, try to get that on video for you. Alright, let's see what we get done. Alright, so we're pulling this first fuel injector out, and as you can tell, there is a gamma mess down in here. So before we and that used to actually be cork gasket right there. Evidently it got pulled apart. So before we pull this out of there, because you know we have a direct path down into the head from this, before we pull this out of here and have the possibility of all that falling down inside, we're going to go ahead and try to clean some of that up. Get in there with a brush or something and get that stuff out of the way while we still have basically the majority of the hole closed up and inaccessible with fuel injector, so we don't get a bunch of dirt down inside the cylinder. Alright, so in here we disconnected 3 fuel lines. Realistically, they weren't hard. This one was kind of tight. It was about as tight as a Marine Corps recruit's haircut. 1/2-inch bolts holding on these injectors. Got them loosened up. Just taking each one of them, working our way towards the end. So, alright, so we finally managed to get number 3 loose. She was a tight last, but we got her. So I had not planned on rebuilding these injectors, and I still do not intend to rebuild these injectors. I will say, you know, when you look at the ends of them, they've been exposed to an awful lot of carbon. Still, you know, I still go back to the motor in this Backhoe did not have a single issue running wise, and didn't start for fuel, you know, nothing. So still like feel the need to clean the injectors, and we're not. We got the gasket kit, we're just going to put it back on. Okay, so we have our injector. As you can see, there's a pretty big buildup of carbon on the end of it. Basically, we're going to we're taking a brass brush. Why brass? Because brass is softer than the metal that we're brushing, so we won't tear the metal up. Just going to take a brass brush. This is exactly how the maintenance manual for this Backhoe recommends that you clean these. Just take a wire brush. It says wire brush, it doesn't specifically say brass. Just take a wire brush, get in there, clean it up. Now I don't know if you'll be able to see it or not. They're very small, but we'll see if we can get the camera to pick it up. There is, on the very end, right there by my finger, you will see a small hole, and there is several of them on the end of this injector where the fuel comes out. So that's for the maintenance manual. Wire brush into the fuel injector, clean them up. Alright, so got our injector kit here. One of the things that I don't know, I didn't look at it in the manual to see if it's actually in the manual, but one of the things that I had seen, I think on a YouTube video, hooray for you, was that this copper washer that you put on the end of the fuel injector, you put it on the end and then you go to put the fuel injector in, has a tendency to fall off. And one of the ways that a fellow on a YouTube video said that you keep that from happening is put petroleum jelly on the end of the injector and then slide the copper washer on, and then when you push the washer into place, the petroleum jelly will hold the washer on there while you lower it into the spot it needs to be in. So that's a great tip. Beyond that, we take the cork O-ring, we're going to slide that over top here, gently. I am a bull in a china shop when it comes to this kind of stuff, so when I get to things like this, I have to remind myself to just take my time. These kits for this stuff are not terribly expensive. I think I bought each one of these kits down at the local tractor place for, I think they were like $5. They weren't terrible. They were actually cheaper online. I looked at a tractor place online and they were like $2. But it was $2 for the injector kit. But then, you know, so after you add up your $6, it was $15 in shipping. I mean, come on, people. So, you know, $21 versus $15, you know, do the math. So, that's where we're at. Alright. Let's see. Which one is it? Alright. You were in 2. Clean your bolts. Clean them. Make sure your stuff is clean. One thing I do need to do is I need to run in the house, open up that manual again, take a look to see if there's a torque spec associated with this. So we will run and take care of that, and we'll be back here in a minute. Alright, so back here working on this, went and checked the torque values for the injector system, and one of the things that I'm a very big proponent of is before you start wrenching on something, make sure you can work these screws with your finger. And if you can get them to screw with your fingers, then you're not going to strip them out more than likely. So torque value for the injector retaining bolts is 10 to 15, so we're going to go 13. We're going to go right in the middle. We got our little wrench out here today, little torque wrench. Working on this Backhoe, we haven't got to do a whole lot with the little wrench, so we'll let it play a little bit. And again, anytime you're trying to torque something, you know, generally working things, you don't want to just tighten one side completely down and not tighten the other one. So we're going to jump back and forth from bolt to bolt, make sure that we're trying to evenly distribute the weight on this gasket. That's getting pretty snug. Come down here, that's getting pretty snug. So now we're going to go for torque. We're only putting 13 pounds on this thing, so we'll do it over here a little bit. There we go, 13 right there. 13 right there. So work our way down the entire assembly. There we go. There we go. Just making sure that as we do this, we're trying to share the wealth here, evenly distribute the weight on the gasket. And you can see we're at 13 right there. 13 right there. So if you're tightening them up and you know you go a quarter of a turn and click, and then you go to the next bolt and you go a quarter of a turn and click, you can tell that you pretty well evenly distributed as you tighten them down towards torque. Evenly distributed the amount of force on all the bolts. If you're trying to torque down something with a gasket and you're going a quarter turn on all these bolts, and then you get to a bolt and you've got to do 5-6 turns to get there, you know that you've not evenly distributed the weight throughout the process. Alright, so alright, now we're back here with the fuel rail. We in the kit that you get 2 small copper washers there for the fuel system. So easiest way to do this, go ahead and preload the one washer on top screw. Go ahead, set this kind of into place, give it a little bit of a turn, get it started out so you know that the copper washer is not going to go flying off somewhere. Again, we've already got our washer loaded on the nut, or on the screw rather. We're going to put it on the bottom, set it in place, tighten it down finger tight. Again, we've already got our copper washer on here. Through, put one on the bottom, set it in place, finger tight. So, the torque spec on the injector rail is 18 to 22. So we're going to split the difference and go to 20. This one's a little bit different because you really only have one screw. So this is 7/16. So again, we're going for 20 foot-pounds. It just seems like a lot. And in the process of doing all this, we're going to be crushing those copper washers. So, you know, I realize that this thing hasn't clicked. I'll be honest with you, I'm not going there. Because this thing's already tight as you can get. And I am not stripping one of these things out. So, let's see how that works. Maybe I'll come back in here with a wrench later and do it. So, but tighten this back down. On this backhoe, there's a line that comes off the end of this fuel rail here and comes up to the top of the fuel tank. And whoever had this before had put basically the same kind of hose that you put on a radiator for that, and it did not work well. So we'll go get some proper fuel line, get that fixed. Because it wasn't the right thing, constantly leaked fuel off the top of the fuel tank down the side of the inside of the backhoe. So that's basically it. We're going to wrench these back down good and tight, and that is how you change the gaskets and rings on a fuel injector for a 1981 4555 backhoe. Alright, so from my Tabor City home to you, let's use our hands. Let's build some. Let's fix some. America is not a disposable nation. God bless.